Imagine a fantasy series written by world-famous fantasy and science fiction authors where the only rules are you can't kill off anyone else's character, you must follow the events that were put into motion by another author, no retconning, and no one destroys the vulgar unicorn. Well, without good reason and permission. Dive into the gritty, enthralling world of Sanctuary, city teeming on the edge of chaos at the fringes of the Rankin Empire. In Thieves World, gods clash for supremacy, invasions reshape the city. Edited by Robert Asprin, this classic series is a must-read for any fantasy adventure fan, showcasing the brilliance of legendary authors in a shared world anthology that sets the standard for generations to come. Thieves World is what resulted when the world's top science fiction and fantasy authors got together to create an amazing new world of Sanctuary. In the first book, published in 1979 alone, there are 8 authors that contributed, like Robert Asprin, Poul Anderson, David Drake, and eventually over 12 authors dipped their toes into the shared universe. Thieves World is one of the earliest, most successful shared world series in sci-fi fantasy publishing. As of 2012, there are 14 anthologies in the series, with at least 15 or more spin-off novels, short stories, collections, and even a role-playing and board game series. Dive into Thieves World, a groundbreaking shared world anthology where legendary authors weave tales of divine intrigue and relentless action in the tremendous city of Sanctuary. Edited by Robert Asprin, this series promises unforgettable characters and an epic storytelling that will captivate any fantasy fans. So now that we know the basics, let's see what the Deep Dive crew has to say about the first book in the Thieves World series. Buckle up!
All right, so are you ready to get a little bit shady?
Mm-hmm.
Because today we are diving into Thieves World. Now, this is Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Comes from Robert Asprin's Thieves World.
Yeah.
And this is a place that makes, a back alley brawl look like a picnic. We're talking like thieves, magic, political scheming, enough to make your head spin. Yeah. But, that's not even the real question. The real question is, can a city built on chaos ever truly change?
That is the question. And what's so fascinating about what Asprin does is he takes the city that's really down on its luck,
right,
and turns it into this melting pot of desperation and ambition. And so you got to understand, Sanctuary at one point was a major, major trade hub for the Rankin Empire.
Wow.
But after the Great Pass reopened, well, let's just say its better days are in the past.
So it's like it's a city that's down on its luck. And so it's attracting all the down on their luck people who have nowhere else to go.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like this magnet for people who live on the fringes of society. Yeah. Maybe they've got some stuff in their past. Maybe they're trying to escape the long arm of the empire. Or maybe they just, like to make a profit and they don't much care how they do it.
Right. Yeah, if you go to a place and everybody there is desperate, well, there are going to be a couple of people there who are not desperate or pulling the strings.
Oh, absolutely.
So who are these major players in Sanctuary?
Well, first you've got to start with the new governor, Prince Catechethus.
Okay.
And he comes in, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, all these ideas about cleaning up the city, But governing a city like Sanctuary, it takes a little more than idealism.
Yeah, it's like trying to polish a rusty dagger. Right? You can get rid of some of the crime.
Yeah.
But it's still, that edge is still going to be there.
It's still going to cut you. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where Zabart comes in. He's the advisor.
Okay.
And Zabart, he's a little more pragmatic. He understands that you don't just impose order on a place like Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Chaos is in its DNA.
Right.
He's seen what happens to people who try.
Yeah.
And so he's more concerned with just kind of keeping things running.
Right.
Even if they're not running, perfectly smoothly.
So he's like a realist.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So you got the new guy, you got the guy who's seen it all.
Yep.
And they're trying to share power. It sounds
it's a recipe for disaster.
like a recipe for disaster. Who else is in the mix here?
Well, you can't talk about Sanctuary without talking about Jubal.
Yeah.
Jubal is,
yeah.
Imagine, if you will, a crime lord who knows every secret, every whisper.
Right.
That's Jubal.
Oh, right.
He thrives on control, and he's not about to let some new prince come in and disrupt everything he's built.
Okay, so we've got the prince, the advisor, the crime lord.
Mhm.
Who else? I mean, this is Sanctuary.
Right.
It's got to be somebody else.
There's always somebody else.
Who else is vying for control here?
Well, how about Murdis?
Okay.
She's the madam at the Aphrodisia house.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this isn't just some, run-of-the-mill Murdis. She has her finger on the pulse of the city. Okay.
She knows everybody's secrets, everybody's desires.
Oh.
And that is power and Sanctuary.
It's like she's holding all the cards.
Oh, absolutely.
Before we go any further, we've got to talk about the magic in Sanctuary.
Yes, yeah.
Because you can't have a place like Sanctuary without magic.
And the magic here isn't, it's not all, fire and brim stuff.
Right.
It's much more subtle than that.
Right.
It's about manipulation.
Okay.
And nobody manipulates quite like Lithe Hand.
Okay.
He's a mercenary and a magician.
Why?
Oh, yeah. He's morally ambiguous, kind of like everyone else we've talked about.
So he's a wild card.
Oh, yeah, he's a wild card for sure.
So, okay. Let me get this straight. We've got a prince trying to clean things up, an advisor who knows better.
A crime lord who likes things the way they are. We've got a madam who knows everybody's secrets, and a shadowy magician in the background.
Welcome to Sanctuary.
Where do we even go from here?
Well, now this is where Sanctuary gets even more interesting. See, each one of these players is about to get caught up in a series of events that's going to shake the city to its core.
Okay.
We're talking magic,
Yep.
theft, and the destinies of everyday people caught in the middle.
You've got my attention. I'm not going to lie. It sounds like one of those things where the more you learn, the less you know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's what makes Sanctuary so captivating, right?
Right.
It makes you question whether order can ever truly exist in a place like this,
Okay.
or if trying to impose order will just lead to more chaos.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, listeners, we are about to dive even deeper into this world. But first, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay!
So don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Dungeon cakes. Eat them before you get eaten yourself.
All right. And we are back. Before the break, we were talking about all those people who, they think they're running things in Sanctuary.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how that power actually plays out on the street.
Yeah.
With, the everyday people just trying to live their lives.
Right. Well, and what's interesting is that even though you've got all this chaos going on, you've also got this weird sense of community.
Okay.
Right? Like everybody understands we're all just trying to make it here. Right? Like take Jarvina, for example. She's a young scribe.
Okay.
And she lost her parents.
And
She wants justice. She wants revenge.
it's like, how do you even find justice in a place like Sanctuary?
Right. The line's kind of blurry there. And so that desperation, that's what makes her vulnerable, to people who want to use her, to people who have their own agendas.
That's heartbreaking, Anne. It sounds like a very Sanctuary story.
Yeah.
It's like you've got these people, big ambitions clashing, and then you've got these people on the ground who are just trying to live their lives, and they're the ones who get caught in the crossfire.
Exactly. And it's not just her.
Right.
You've also got Dubro, he's just the blacksmith, right?
Okay.
He just wants to keep his head down, make a living.
Right.
But in Sanctuary, even that's hard.
Yeah. So how does Dubro play into all this? It sounds like he just wants to be left alone. Yeah.
Well, he represents kind of the old Sanctuary,
Okay.
back when craftsmanship and hard work, that's all it took, right?
Right.
But with this new prince, with all this stuff going on,
Yeah.
he's finding it hard to adapt.
So everything around him is changing,
Mm-hmm.
but he's still the same.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then there's Elira,
Okay.
and she's a Sedanzo seer.
Okay.
And the Sedanzo, they're nomads.
Okay.
They're known for their connection to fate.
So she could see the future.
In a way, she gets these visions.
That's wild.
Well-
Does she use that to control things, or is it just to stay afloat?
It's more like she tries to nudge things in the right direction.
Okay.
Maybe give a warning here or there,
Right.
but ultimately she knows she can't control fate.
Especially in Sanctuary.
Especially in Sanctuary.
Right.
She sees Jarvina struggles.
Right.
And Dubro trying to hold on to what he has,
Yeah.
and all these powerful people playing their games.
So she sees it all.
And she's just trying to find a path through it.
Okay, so before we get too far, you mentioned that something was stolen.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
The Savant.
The what?
The savant. It's a religious artifact.
Okay.
Very important.
Like religiously important or like politically important?
Both.
Oh.
Kind of like the soul of sanctuary, whatever is left of it.
Okay, so this wasn't just like some random robber. Oh, no, no. This was something bigger.
This was a statement.
This is huge. So we're talking about, like, who's behind it?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Yeah.
And the way it was stolen. Right under their noses.
Yeah.
It wasn't some two-bit thief.
Okay, so we're talking professional.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounds like you might know who it is.
It's starting to look like Lythan might be involved. It's Lythan?
But he's magic.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But what kind of magic are we talking about? Like, is he making things disappear? Is he talking to animals?
Magic in sanctuaries, not so much about, the spectacle. It's about understanding the currents of power.
Okay,
Seeing the threads of fate and knowing how to use them.
right.
And Lythan,
Yeah.
he's very good at that.
So he can use magic to influence people.
Oh, in a way.
Okay, so we've got all these characters, they're caught up in their own stuff.
And now you're telling me that some kind of magical artifact is missing.
And the city's starting to unravel.
I am hooked. This is great.
And we haven't even gotten to the best part.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. Because all of this
Yeah.
brings up some serious moral questions.
Okay.
Because in Sanctuary, it's not always clear what's right and wrong.
Okay, listeners. We are going deep into the murky waters of morality here in Sanctuary.
Buckle up.
Where the choices are tough
Hmm?
and the consequences even tougher. But first, we need to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Clancy's pickup service. If you're dead, we got you covered.
And we're back. This is it, the final act. Sanctuary is intense.
No kidding. It's like everything's come to a boil, ambition, fear, you name it.
And in the middle of it all, we got Hansi. He's got an interesting nickname too, Shadowspawn.
Oh, Hans. A legend, even in Sanctuary. The man's a born survivor, but even he can't ignore something like the Savant disappearing.
So what's his deal? Shadowspawn. Sounds kind of ominous.
He's a walking contradiction, product of Sanctuary's underbelly, right? But he's got this code, a sort of honor among thieves.
So he's not all bad.
More complicated than that. See, with the Savant gone, he's got to keep this breathing down his neck.
To Prince. What's he want with Hans?
Thinks Hans is the key, the only one who can sniff out who took it, what they're planning.
Makes sense. But you say it was a statement, right? So I was making a point.
Exactly. And Jubal, well, he's not thrilled. Sees Hans as a loose end, unpredictable.
So he's stuck between a prince and a crime lord. Talk about bad timing.
Hans always lands on his feet, though. He's got this knack and instinct for the city, its secrets.
So how does he play this? But yeah, he's got targets on his back from all sides.
He does what he does best. Uses his head, his skills, disappears into the shadows, makes a deal here, breaks one there, survival,
This is insane. It's like a game with impossible rules.
And the stakes are higher than ever, not just for Hans, but for everyone.
It's more than just surviving for him, though, isn't it? This is his home.
You hit the nail on the head. Sanctuary. It's not just where the story happens, it's alive, got a will of its own.
So it's like a character.
Exactly. And Asprin, he's brilliant there, and nobody's all good, all bad. They're just trying to make it whatever it takes.
And in a place like Sanctuary, sometimes whatever it takes gets real messy.
That's the core of it, isn't it? Can a city like this, built on survival of the fittest, actually change for the better?
Big questions. And honestly, I don't know, but isn't that what's so great about this?
What do you mean?
It's not about easy answers. It's about exploring, wondering, what if? That's what makes it stick with you.
I may be recognizing a bit of ourselves in all the chaos, even without magic and swords.
Exactly. Well, listeners, we've reached the end. Our deep dive into Thieves World, into Sanctuary, it's over for now. But those shadows, they linger.
They always do.
That's the deep dive for you, and until next time, happy reading.